Whew. Well, hello YouTube. Ooh. Different hat. I normally wear my cute hat, but now I'm wearing my cute hat. Actually, this one's kind of uncomfortable and it's actually sort of warm here in the basement. So we'll switch to the normal hat and take off the oldie hoodie. It wasn't that warm. And then I came down here and started getting ready for this. One thing about a basement, I'm surrounded on 3 sides by dirt, which means it's always basically the same temperature down here. So that's a good thing. Anyway, hi, welcome. This is Campaign Terrain. I'm your host, That Guy Cross. Tonight, going back to working on the ship. Tonight, we will be working on the hatches. I say we. I'll be working on the hatches so that nobody falls into the hold. And, hey! Somebody's here under a different account than they normally use. Hello, Mrs. Lynn, who's not here under Mrs. Lynn, but you are first. So, good deal. And welcome. So tonight I'm going to be making hatches. Now on hatches on an actual sailing ship, the ones that I have seen and personally experienced because I have been on sailing ships under sail before, the ones that I saw were not a solid board. They were a mesh, which allows ventilation to get down in the bottom and it doesn't just get too stifling and all that down underneath. So I am going to be making mine out of a mesh. I can see you. I don't know if you can see me, but I promise it's a mesh. So I will probably be painting these later. Normally, I like to stain the lumber, not paint the lumber, and these will have lumber edges, and they won't be painted until later. Yeah, that's a future me problem. So that's where I'm at with this. Now, last week I had barely started that other deck, and I have gotten no further. So I need to put this one carefully aside so I don't bend it or maul it or mangle it or chew on it or anything like that. So let me set that off to the side. And I can grab either of these 2 decks because I need to match this hole. And the way I am planning on making this work, that one's too big. Let's not sling that one around. The way I'm planning on making this work is in here on these frames, I am going to, or edges, I'm going to build a frame that's just slightly dropped in. And the hatches I'm building will drop into that. So the hatches I'm building will be designed to fit just inside this. So rather than 3 inches by 3 inches, they're going to be like 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, so they fit in easily. The outside edges I'm going to use, I don't know, probably square dowel if I have any left, something. For the frames for the hatches, I'm going to be using coffee stirrers on top and bottom and basically sandwich it between. I am going to do this a bit smaller because you wouldn't, by my scale, these are 12 feet by 12 feet. By D&D scale, these are 15 feet by 15 feet. I went with 3 inches in the real world because that was an easy thing to cut and I literally had 3-inch pieces to measure around. I am going to cross-hatch them twice, so it's going to be like that in the middle. So it's going to be 4 quadrants of mesh. I could make it so it's multiple pieces and they could set on a separate frame because the way that they could work, the way that I have seen some work is they are either much smaller, which I can't do on the scale, otherwise there's no point because a mini won't fit through them. But bigger ones I have seen, though not on a ship I've been underway on, they were made so that you lifted 4 hatches up, and then there were the 2 cross pieces, and you pulled one of them out that sat on the other one, and then you pulled it out, and they sat in little notches on the side. So you put that in, and put that one in, and then that one in, and then put the 4 quadrants sitting on top of that. I'm going to make it look like that, but I'm going to make it one piece. So you just go boink, and pop the thing out, and it will sit on that little frame. So that's the plan for the evening. I don't actually know what I'm going to use for that supporting rack, but I will figure that out in a moment. I do have some square dowel, but they're pretty chunky. I don't really want them that large, I don't think. And I've only got one of the smaller ones, and then after that they get biggy chunky, like really chunk, and I don't want to really chunk. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to probably end up using chopsticks, I think. But I think they're not in this box. I think they're in my other box. But while I'm here, I will be needing the coffee stir sticks, so, or beverage stir sticks or whatever. So I do need to get those out. Yeah, let's see what else I got in here. Oh, there's the chopsticks, or the bamboo skewers. Either way will work. Ah, yes, chopsticks. Now these are round, but I have hot glue and they will stay in place, and I am fine with that. So I'm going to be using those. And like I said, these will be 3 inches by 3 inches, or as close as this square actually is, because they need to be on the edges. The other thing will sit into a slight recess and sit on top of these. And on top of, that's my southern accent, on top of, atop, they shall sit atop of those. So that is where I'm at with that. I am not, some of these chopsticks have these little lines in them and some don't. And to be honest, I don't care. I'm going to not care about that. So I'm just going to randomly grab a few, if I can get them out. And then I shall, once I've gotten 1 or 2 of them out, they will start to fall out of this little Velcro strap I got here. Velcro is a brand. This is not actually Velcro, not sponsored, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I need to take that and basically take a bigger, chunkier wire cutter, or diagonal cutters, also known as dikes, no giggling. And I am going to take that and eyeball it, because they really don't have to be perfect. They just have to fit. And now, every time you cut something with a pair of nip cutters like this, part of it wants to go pew, so make sure you're holding both sides pretty carefully. And, oh my gosh, that was a tough one. Okay, so that should work. Now, there's going to be a little bit of rough edges here. Those are going to be glued in, so I'm not too worried about it, but you could, if you wanted, sand those off on a piece of sandpaper or sanding stick or whatever. But I am not going to bother. Okay. Hey, LC, good to see you. Yeah, how are you this evening? I don't know if you're talking to me or to Mrs. Lynn. Mrs. Lynn is far more fun than me, so I presume you're talking to them. Okay. But if you are talking to me, I am doing peachy. I'm really not, but there's nothing anybody can do to fix the issues I'm having, so we're just going to say, I'm fine. How are you? Couldn't believe it when I started to post today. It asked you what the publication date of the video is, and I was like, November 2nd. Holy cow, this year has gone by. It doesn't seem like a lot's happened, because it's basically only been one news story, but we're skipping that because no politics on my channel. Other than that, this still, even with that, because of that, in spite of that, this year has just gone right on by. So yeah, it's so I am doing relatively okay. I was sick several different types of ways a couple of weeks ago. Like within like a 10-day period, I had three completely unrelated ailments, and all of those seem to have cleared up. So I am, relatively speaking, peachy kino. That is a game I do not know how to play. My dad is a fan, but I do not know how to play keno. I know that my dad enjoys it. I've only been to Vegas once, but was young enough that they wouldn't let me onto the floor, and my parents never went to the floor except when my siblings were watching me. But anyway, we were having dinner one night, and I know that my dad was playing keno off of the TV, the monitors, whatever they're called, while we were eating, much to my mother's dismay, because she doesn't even like to have the TV on during dinner, much less, gambling or whatever. But that is how I know my dad likes keno. Other than that, I've never had a discussion about it. So I don't know if that is the only time. Now, technically, since I am building the door in one piece, I probably don't need railing all the way around. I could probably get by with it just being on the two sides. Nah. Why do things half-assed when you can be a complete ass? So I'm going to build the railing all the way around like I had envisioned the first place. I know a lot of people right now are like, oh, he's doing the hot glue again. Yeah, well, it's my favorite glue. I know some people don't like it as much, but for this, where it's going to be inside a ship and then painted dark brown, it doesn't need to be pretty. I don't care if the glue is lumpy. Yeah, so hot glue it is for this one because it's like, blip, done. Let the hot glue cool off and harden up and good to go. I am just glued myself to the ship though, so that's fun. Ooh. I act like all nonchalant about like that, like, oh no, I've hot glued myself. But when I'm not on the screen with y'all, I get really upset at stuff like that. Like, why are you holding on to my damn hand? So just be glad I am courteous to y'all, because I am a cussing mother when no one's looking. I blame that on my upbringing. My great aunt raised me, and she once had a president. I'm not going to tell you her name or their name, but a president once said, oh yeah, Miss, her name. What a lovely lady. There's no doubt that she is a lady, even though she can cuss like a sailor. And I always thought that was funny. To have that said about you by a president and have them mean it literally as a sentiment of endearment, I think that is amazing, and I have nothing but respect for it. Other than that, I was also raised somewhat by my grandfather, and he didn't cuss like a sailor. He was a sailor. So, yeah, no. There's that. I'm sure nobody else here ever cusses. I'm sure that y'all are all wonderful, lovely, quiet, soft-spoken individuals and never, ever cuss. So, good for you. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. It's kind of a funny thing. I've been to lots of places in Arizona. You'll be like, what? And it has to do with bridges, trust me. I've been to lots of places in Arizona. And I lived in Arizona when London Bridge, the actual London Bridge, was bought by some guy and transported to Arizona and put back together, not by him personally, but lock, stock, and barrel. Every single piece of it was put back together in Lake Havasu. And yet I have been all over Arizona, and I have never been to Lake Havasu at all, and certainly not when the London Bridge was there. So, just one of those things I missed out on. It's on the to-do list eventually, maybe, but, well. I am a very, very, very niche crafter who works out of a basement. So the funds for me going to Arizona to play on a bridge are very unlikely to come by anytime soon. But should that happen, it's on the list. What's funny is I just heard somebody else talking about, not the London Bridge, but that city the other day. It was actually on a news report, had nothing to do with anything. I mean, it had to do with obviously something, but not to do with what I'm talking about. Anyway, and they pronounced it Lake Havasu, and I'm like, meh, okay, you didn't ask anybody at all, because everybody knows it's Lake Havasu. I just found it funny. No one else would probably care. I just made me giggle. Heck, I don't even know if any of the people I know have ever been to Arizona other than my family. I don't know. I probably know somebody that's been there, but anyway. Alrighty, so that's the frame. The frame is done. Okay, I did that one off camera because I knew I had a second one. I was just sitting here babbling and kind of rolling with it, but I will switch to this camera. It always does the thing. Y'all know. I got to switch to this camera, then I got to stand up, turn on the light. The light's going to go in your eyes for a second, and then it'll calm down. I promise. Meanwhile, here's some patrons for you to look at. So these are my Patreon patrons. Help keep the channel going. Your name could be here. And actually, I could really use the help. I really could. But no pressure. I know times are rough. So, Digital Calibrator, close personal friend, in real life, came over yesterday, helped with some stuff yesterday. Not on this, on the game I'm writing. Yeah, helps me out financially this way, and actually helps with some of the audio and video having to do with this, and is helping me with the game. So, huge shout out to DC. Patrick Walther, longtime supporter of the channel. Hugely appreciate that. Y'all know that. Dungeon Matron, that's Lisa. Lisa has her own Discord. There's links for that down below on this page where you're looking at right now. And besides her Discord, she and Carl from Carl Makes Stuff and Kim from Questboard Train have also started a new YouTube channel. And that one's called Just Flocking With You. And they just get together and shoot the bull and craft silly, crafty stuff. They did 2 this last week because Halloween, so they did a special one on Friday. But normally it's on Wednesday afternoons. And 1 o'clock Cali time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, generally. Yeah. Solo Nick has 2 channels. One is Solo Nick. He does crafting, much like what we're doing here. Does mostly minis more than terrain, but has done some terrain. Also, when he did terrain, he did a scenario to go with his terrain. That was kind of cool. Let's see. The other channel is called Climbing Moss, and that one is his man about town sort of thing. He travels to different places and talks about what he sees and what he does, so that's kind of fun. Mia Geek has a channel called Mia Geek. Only 1 or 2 videos up yet, but plans to make that grow, and is also one of the people on Shadows of Arconia, a Twitch channel that does all sorts of different gaming. They do not let's plays, tabletop game, virtual tabletop games where they sit with each other and sit digitally with each other and play video games. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's switch to the other camera. Oops, that's the wrong button. I almost hung up on y'all. Okay, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. The 2 that are biggies for me: comment and sub. A lot of my, the same as every YouTube channel tells you, only about 10% of my people that watch are actual subs. I would like that to be more. That's the generic one. But the one that a lot of them don't tell you is the comments seem to drive the algorithm a lot. So after the video's over, or if you're watching this in the future, make sure to leave a comment, because that would really drive the algorithm, and I really appreciate it. So thank you. I'm going to sit that right there. Leave it there. Subtle. You can't even see it beating right there, messing with your head. All right. So before I start cutting mesh, I am going to take this other deck, and what I'm doing is taking these, eyeballing it across here, cutting them to fit. We already covered the thing about if you cut them without holding them, they'll go pew across the room. So I'm going to take this and get that ready to cut, and hold both sides. And then I'm going to take the hot glue. I don't know why I said it like hot glue, but the hot glue. And I am just going to take it, run a bead across here, and press that into place. I'm telling you that because sometimes I forget, and I do things off camera like a professional. Now, previously, I had filled in the holes on the other deck, and then realized I was going to do it this way. So there's no reason to fill in the, ow, 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 hot glue is hot. The corrugations with glue, I don't need to do that since I'm basically blocking them with hot glue and the stick here. Now, I use my hot glue on the low setting, but it can still be toasty like it just was. So yeah, be careful with that. Hope that was amusing for y'all. All right, let's see. Hey, Sim Peasant. So since I was telling everybody else, Sim Peasant has a channel called Sim Peasant. Plays a lot of chill games. So that's always fun. Keeps the videos to 15 minutes or so it's not going to take your whole day. And no big rowdy shoot 'em ups or driving games or anything. Just sort of chill stuff. So that's pretty fun. I like that channel. All right, so let's see. I'm super. Thanks for asking. I'm singing that because Lucy Collected posted that in the chat over yonder. Like watching non-locals try to pronounce names of a tri-state area. Oh yeah. Oh, there are some names in Maine where I'm like, I am never going to get that one right. There's some in Massachusetts that are the same way. There's probably some in Philadelphia. I know there's just at least one city or town in New York that I have never gotten right, even though I know how it's pronounced. I just always get that one wrong. So yeah, that whole area right over my head. All right. Damn it, we never swear in this house. Yeah. I suspect shenaniganery. All right. Yeah, I got to be quicker than the glue. It's not that. It's that I distracted myself. I started thinking about something else and it disappeared. Oh, man, really? That's like that much too long? All right, whatever. Oh, well, I put all these little pieces into my wood scraps anyway, so now I have a tiny little wood scrap to go with my not so tiny one off the last one. All right. Now, we're going to put some more hot glue on this and hopefully not on my hand. Technically, I didn't put it on my hand. I put my hand on it. Ooh. And that's probably way too much, so it's gooping out. But I was worried about, before I got the wood into place, I was worried about the glue, like, basically crawling into the corrugations. That's why I'm sort of overdoing it on those. All right, so that's in place. And I am sort of pressing those as far as possible just to make the opening as big as possible, because I was going to have a 3-inch by 3-inch elevator lower on a crane, but I figured that what I'm actually going to do is use netting, where you pile the crates on the net, wrap it up, and drop it in that way. And again, this isn't going to be used for like 2 scenarios ever, and it's going to be on a shelf. But basically, if I've got a wadded up piece of netting or whatever, I'll probably use something like this, or something like the plastic webbing that goes on produce or something like that as my netting. But if I've got a piece of netting with something in it, and I've got it basically lowering in like this, it's going to be well within that 2 and some change inches gap there. All right, so that's 3/4 of the way done, because I've done 2 of them. I've done 1 all the way around, and I've done half of this one. So measure the stick first, dingus. I have drawn out the pointy stick. Okay. Now these are going to be a little bit shorter, but again, I'm just eyeballing these, so I'm not measuring these. I'm simply gauging them. I'm finding them very engaging. Shut up, Cross. I once told somebody I should do stand-up, and they said, sit down. I made that joke up, and then I found out that somebody else had told that joke before, and I was like, well, rude, stealing my joke 60 years before I wrote it. It's just wrong. Like the old joke of, I told everybody I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and they just laughed at me. Really? I measured that, and it still doesn't want to fit, so I got to go in here and take off another little piece of this. Just doing that quickly and hoping I still have glue sticky enough to sticky. And yep, I think that's going to work. If not, I can come by with super glue or white glue afterwards and make up the difference, so to speak. But I think I got it in time. Let's see. Close enough. I can fix it right now, but just brush that. I just told y'all I was saving that wood for stuff, and I just brushed off the scraps onto the floor. No, I'm not going back onto the floor to go find it. All right, so, well, that was a little lumpy. So what? After I paint it dark brown, no one's going to know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take a little bit of glue, not nearly as much as I just had on there for the first part. Run that into this little gap here. And take the nib and press that in to sort of flatten it out. And that one's good to go. Now we're going to take the other one. We're going to take that. We're going to gauge it. And then when we gauge it, we're going to actually just cut that one a little short, because I'm not going to have that happen again. I've burned myself with enough things tonight. Oh, hey, there's my scrap of wood stuck to my cutters. Oh, and it's cut. Yeah, I'm not messing with that one. Okay, so. Oh, I see why I messed that up. I measured it on this one, and this one has a tapered piece. And so this is actually wider than this one. Live and learn. I'm so totally going to need that one more time, ever, when I make that upper deck. That's the only other time I'm ever going to need to know that. And then it can go away and leave my consciousness. But I'm still cutting this one a little shorter, just because. Then I'm going to double check. Aha, it does fit. Okay. A little scrap of wood. Okie dokie. All right, let's see. Yeah, Disney Dreamlight Valley that Sim Peasant is currently playing is a video game, very chill. It's basically it's lots of stuff to do, adventures and things to do. So it is basically a very complex house building sim. You can make cutesy or house decorating sim. You can decorate stuff and wear cute clothes and stuff as well. But you have a bunch of quests and stuff you have to go on to get the new stuff. So it is both a quest game and a deco game. So it seems fun. I've never played it, but I have seen it played by many people. And it seems very fun. They are very creative. I like several of the things they have done. Totally not plagiarizing them for my game. Actually, I only have some where the mechanics, I liked how something worked and I might use that, but you can't copyright mechanics. So, you know. Plus, it's not like it's the same anyway. I'm going to be, if I use that part at all, it would be the way some of the puzzles are constructed. It'll be going from a video game of one genre to a tabletop game of another. It's not like it's going to be like, this is just like Disney. No. Okay. Doesn't mean they won't come sue me, but they sue everybody for everything because Disney. Okay, so that is the two holes. Now, I think I'm going to have to do the doors independently. I don't think I can make them both the same and have them fit, just because there's some funky, weird, slightly smaller than 3x3 tolerances going on here. So, yeah, I'm going to take this and... All right, now, this large sheet here is weird. Okay, see all these lines that you're seeing across it? That's not weirdness in your screen. This is a quick count. So if you look this way, there's lines this way, and there's lines this way. And those are designed so that you cut in the little square to give you, or to count your cross stitch, not cut. You count. I think they're 10 by 10. With the naked eye, can't see them unless I angle the thing way down for myself. And I don't care about that because that's not what I'm doing with it. So this is cross stitch mesh, or what do they call it? Plastic canvas. That's the other word. So it's plastic canvas or cross stitch mesh. If you get the much, much larger squares than this, sometimes that's called rug hook mesh, but it's also still called whatever I just said. Whatever, my brain. Okay, so I am basically taking this and cutting it just under 3 inches so that it will fit down in that hole, but still sit on the wood. I don't want it to be too small than it. If I would rather this be bigger than too little. So yeah, now when I cut this, there's going to be little nibs left on it. So I am going to try to, pardon the pun, nip that in the bud as it goes by just cutting closer to this inside piece. That I am going to not do that at all. I'm going to take this and mark the one out that I need to cut. And I am going to cut the inside edge of that, so there's no little points left on the part that I'm wanting to use. There will still be parts left on the other piece, which is fine because I'm going to put it off to the side. I am going to just use scissors for that. Any regular old fairly heavy duty scissors where you can get through the plastic is good. This plastic's not particular. It's super tough if you try to like dig through it, or something stabs into it or whatever. But once you take a pair of scissors to it, it's not hard to cut. So just know. Now you probably don't want to use your nice, good, only cut thread and fabric shears, but everything else is probably good to go. You use my good scissors for what? Yep, that's a thing. Okay, so I'm going to measure about the same distance on this side and do the same thing by cutting to leave that smooth edge. And by the way, if you're ever using this for leading in windows, you want to cut at 45 degrees so it gives you that classic leaded look. Just, future reference. This does make really good window leading. Okay, so that's one, and let's make sure it fits, and if it fits, then I can cut the other one the same size. So we'll take that, put that in there, and it is not the right size, but I made it too big, not too little, so that's a good thing. I'm going to take one more row off of each side. Another thing you can do with this mesh is make ladders by very carefully cutting out some of the in-between pieces. You can make some pretty cool ladders with this. It tends to make very modern or futuristic looking ladders, so probably not good for what I'm doing, but yeah. And these little plastic strips, they can be used for all sorts of junk and mod and mess and whatever. So those will end up in a offcuts parts bin I've got laying over there. Okay, so that's one strip off of each side. One of those will be slightly shorter than the other, obviously, because I cut all the way across. Okay, now let's try this again. We'll take that and we'll put that right in there, and we're done. Thanks, good night. No. But that's perfect. I couldn't ask for that to be better. That's exactly in that hole, sitting on those boards. Good to go. All right, now I'm going to take some of these, and here's where it's going to get creative, because I plan on using hot glue, and hot glue is goopy. So yeah, I don't want to glue directly onto my mat, so let me grab my flat board. Here's my flat board. Move those out of the way. Let me cut another one of these before I start doing all that. First off, let me make sure that fits the other deck as well. Not as well. So I will cut one. I should have done that first, because that way I would know, but we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. All right, so I'm going to take some hot glue, run that along the one side, and come on now. Actually kind of got to be concentrating on this because I'm going in a very straight line. I don't want it anywhere else. All right, so we're going to take that, lay that there. I'm going to start on the inside and push outward. That way anything that goops out and will be easy to remove. Now, if y'all remember from a few weeks ago, these are not the normal coffee stirrers like you just go pick up at your coffee shop. These are actually lollipop sticks that my pastry chef, dessert maker, housemate had laying around, and they are quite a bit narrower and thinner, and they're actually pretty flexible and flimsy. But once you layer them up and all of that, it'll go on fine. And I like this slightly smaller thing because if I'm trying to keep things into scale with these itty bitty tiny people, smaller lumber is actually better. All right, so that's that. And then I can go around this way, but then I'm going to end up with it not being equal, and I can't have that because OCD. So I am going to go along this other line, the opposite side, not the opposite side, the opposite edge. And then, again, I want to take that and push it outward, so any overspill I've got goes outward and not inward. And I do have a little on this one. Didn't actually have any on the first one, but I do on this one. Let's get that off of there while it's still cooling. Alrighty, right. Okay, stuck it to my board. Happens a lot. It's glue. It does that. Who knew that glue would stick to things? What? Craziness. Okay, so now flip over and carefully hold that, or otherwise it's going to try to pull itself. Okay, you know what? I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to use my tiny nippers and take that off a different way. And again, these will go flying across the room if you don't hold them. So hold them. Gotta know when to hold them. No wind. Okay, I'm done. Mostly because copyright strikes. Otherwise, I would happily sing Kenny Rogers all night long. Can't sing Kenny Rogers all night long. That's not his song. I think I'm funny. Okay. Again, these pieces want to go across the room, so we'll... Really? That should have gone away from the blade down into the boat, and it went outward. Gone. Lost to the mists of time. Oh well. And since I was kind of eyeballing that and having to do it sort of sideways, I think I got it a little long this way, but let's see if it fits the other side. It does not fit either side, so we're going to have to take a little bit more off. And this time I'm not worried about catching it. I'm just worried about it hitting me in the eye. So I'm going to take that and just kind of close my eyes here. All right. Oh, of course, that one lands right on the table, because of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Okay. Now, since I know the other side's going to be the exact same length, I'll take that and go ahead and nip that one off. This time I'm going to be very careful about not letting it go across the room. Alrighty. This is actually looking really nice. I may not even paint this. I may just say, oh, it's white. It looks really good. It's just, I picture things in my head, and they turn out exactly like I picture mechanically, but in my head, I don't necessarily see them in colors or in textures. And once they're actually done, a lot of times I'm like, damn, look how good I did. There are also times that I'm like, damn, what the hell is that? But usually, I get it pretty close to what I pictured. All right, let's cut the glue up again. And like I said, this should, air quotes, always on my channel, should is always in air quotes, should fit right in there. And does. Perfect. Love it. Ow! Except for the pointy bit. Get rid of that. Ow, that freaking hurt. Hurt myself twice on the channel tonight. Way to go, Cross. That said, I'm seeing that blade I left open on that knife there, and I'm like, no. But I'm not fixing it yet. You will take this, put that inside the glue, and then push it outward, so any spew out goes out to the outside edge, not the inside edge. And didn't quite get that straight, but it's still cooling, so I've still got a little bit of time there to squidge that around. All right. Now, take that blade and put the blade away this time. All right. So that's most of it. Now I got to put one across and then two shorter pieces across that way. And that will be this door done. I could leave it like this and be perfectly happy with it, but not gonna, because I had the other way in mind, and so I'm gonna do it that way. Okie dokie. Now I need to figure out where the middle is. Is there an even number or an odd number of squares? Okay, we are gonna do this with a pencil. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and mark that with my finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 6 left. So I need to come over 8 and kind of mark that. Which one? You won't be able to see it, but there is a tiny mark on the plastic, but that's about to be covered up with glue. Okay, now I'm going to take another coffee stick. Yeah, when I say it should, it always means in theory. Exactly. It's, oh, hey, Kim, how you doing? Didn't see you come in. I apologize for that. Oh, no worries. Never late. You're here when you get here. It's and you can always watch it later as well. I'm never offended, but thank you for saying. All right, now I did kind of put this one a little too far inward, and so I've got some little, or didn't cut those pieces off, so I've got some little scritchy pieces. So I'm going to come by with the nippers. I was thinking I was going to sand them, and then realize there's like 15 of them, so I'm going to 17 of them technically. I'm going to go ahead and use my little nippers here to do this. Now these nippers are designed for tiny little electronic wires, but they are also crap. And the first time I tried to cut a wire, I got a little nick in the blade. So yeah, I use them for everything now because I'm not that worried about it. I do have a much nicer set that I got from a Terraintronics kit that are much higher quality than this pair was. And that one I do only use for electronics. Not that I do electronics all that often, but when I'm like wiring LEDs and such things. By the way, check out Terraintronics. That's Daffod. He's a friend of mine and Kim there, Questport Terrain. And he does lots of electronics like LEDs and magnet activated switches, things like that, specifically with the intent of using them in miniature stuff, whether it's gaming terrain, Gundam builds, things like that. So very cool stuff. Terraintronics. Or you can drop by my Discord, which everybody go drop by my Discord. Go join my Discord. But while you're there, you can ask me and I can send you the Daffod thing. Plus, he's on my Discord. He's one of the users, so you know, you just message him there. That's Daffod, Dafydd, which I believe is actually pronounced Daffith, not Daffod. It's an intention. Yeah. Anyway, where was I at? Right, glue. That's where I was at. All right. Okay, talking about video games. That's always fun. I don't play very many video games, but Sim Peasant does. Not very many, but she plays several. The stupidity is left to friends. Yeah. All right. So I am. Speaking of should always being a suggestion or a whatever, this is the second time this has come up in conversation today because it's really kind of how I live my life, and that is, in theory, everything works in practice, but in practice, that's only a theory. Oh, crud. I should have kept this first. All right, grab the nippers. Hack it quick. Nope, don't cut the... Come on, Cross, don't be a dingus. Oh, there goes that board, just like I told you not to do. Do what I say, not what I do. Actually, you don't have to do what I say. Just you do it your way. I don't care. But I hope to inspire people more than try to educate people. I hope people go, we have to do it exactly the way Cross did it, because half the time I'm making this stuff up anyway. I may be following a generalized idea, but a lot of times I'm just like winging it. All right. So those are still pretty substantial doors. So I'm going to put some smaller pieces here, which hopefully I will remember to measure first and then glue on just like I just did that one. And then I'm going to do the whole same thing on the backside. Just so that way I don't have to worry about putting them in right side up or upside down. I can just take the board and toss it into the square and be done. I have glue bleed through arware. Okay, so it will take. I was going to use the other half of that stick, but since it went to places unknown, I will start over with another one. Okay, so we're going to take you and since I did it like that earlier, but still got it too long, I'm going to take that and push it in, make sure it fits. It does, so I'm going to do that. Put glue on it. Now, on this one, since there's an even numbered, I'm using the center spine piece and putting the glue on that, so the glue's kind of oozing into the holes on either side of that. I'm actually trying to use little enough that it doesn't ooze, but it's going to ooze. That's the secret. The secret of the ooze. I hope there's other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans here than just me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, here's an action. Power. Normally I don't pull the whole hipster thing of I knew them when. I am actually really proud of the fact that I'm old. I mean, no, that because I'm old and a dork, that I have been a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since before they got their TV contract. Not the turtles themselves, but the people that, you know, made the comic book. I have been a fan. The tabletop game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out was in process before the TV show was in process, but the TV show came out before the game did, but only like a few months before the game did. All of it happened like boom, boom, boom. The comic came out. There were only like 4 episodes. They got really popular, like really quick, and almost immediately got a TV show offer thing. And then during that time, during the first season of the TV show, the video game the role-playing game came out, and I got it then. And it is one of those things that I have lost in a fire twice and in a flood once, and yet still have copies because I immediately went out. It was like the first game I replaced after both of my devastating losses of gaming equipment. So I don't even remember putting glue on that, but clearly I did. Nope, I didn't. I just wedged it in there and it stayed. So, okay, good. I'm not entirely losing my mind. Okay, tiny bit of glue as I can get with this too big a nib. And then I do admit to being a size queen, but you'd think I'd want things bigger, not smaller. Make of that what you want. Alrighty. So there is the top half of the first of 3. I'm not doing all 3 tonight. I'm only doing 2 tonight. First, this is the first half of the 2 I am doing tonight. I will also do the backside of this one, which I will just jump right into it. Now this one, I'm going to kind of cross-hatch them a little, since these pieces here go all the way across, and these pieces are sandwiched between them. I'm going to do it the opposite way on this side. And I'm seeing I have squidged out glue in there, and I couldn't see until I got it right up in the light. But I don't think it's a big deal, except for this one hole I've got filled here. Stop it. I heard y'all giggling. So, yeah, I have been a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan since 1984, I think that was. I've been a fan of The Simpsons since before it was its own show. I was a fan of The Simpsons on Tracy Ullman's show. So, yeah, I'm been a dork forever. Now, because all these little holes are already filled in, I'm using a lot less glue on the back here than I did on the front part. So I did that, and running it right along the other one. And I will show y'all a thing as soon as that sets. Yep, we're good there. I'm actually going to have to trim the top and bottom on that one. I have a little piece sticking out on the corner. There we go. That all the way around? Nope, just 2 places. Well, 3 places. I already trimmed one off. And when I tell you I'm cutting a little tiny piece off, I mean it's like microns. It turned into itty bitty splinters when I did that. Hey, Splinter, we're back to talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anyway, yeah, I've been a dork forever. All right, so that is my side profile of it. Ignore the glue that's oozing out. That's the side profile. And you see that that's now pretty thick. And that is why I inset those so far. Because that way, when this sits in there, it should be basically flush with the deck. And I will be dang. That is just about freaking perfect. That is, yeah, that's as close as I think I could possibly get it, even if I'd been trying. I mean, I am trying, but you know what I mean. Oh, here's a fun thing. Oh, we're back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. The reason that sewer manhole covers are round is so they don't do this. Round is the only shape that won't fall back through its own hole. Stop it. I hear y'all giggling. Stop it. But I have been inebriated enough coming home from parties in college that I probably could have fallen through my own hole. I mean that more painfully than particularly suggestively. Come on. There we go. It didn't want to go all the way to the edge. It caught on one of the little divots in the mesh. There's a title for a book. What are you reading? Divots in the mesh. Oh, yeah, I've heard that's good. Strangers in the Dark and whatever else. Strange. As the song from that Fletch made up in, well, Fletch. Strangers in the night, exchanging clothing. Not sure why they'd exchange clothing, but I found it very funny when I was in high school. Heard him sing that. Because when you're high school age, everything makes you giggle. Okay. That is just the right size. I kind of had to push the sidebars a little to make that fit. I think that's going to warp it over time. So we're going to, yep, good. On this other side, it fits. We'll cut the other one just like a micron shorter. So a micron is a measurement of distance, which confused the heck out of me, again, back in high school, because a micron is the equivalent, not the equivalent, it's actually a different time scale, but basically the equivalent of a second in the good Battlestar Galactica, the old one, the one from the 80s. And before anybody jumps on me, what do you mean the new one? Yeah, the new one's good, but the new one wasn't Battlestar. They changed too much, and they should have just called it a different name. But whatever. I had this conversation with people that are very vehement about the new Battlestar, and I'm like, eh. More glue goops. More glue goops. I should probably be doing this with tweezers, but eh. Okay, that into place there. See if I have any squeeze out. Little, but not much. Good deal. Okay, now the inside parts don't really give any stability. Mostly the outside do. And I don't know if you can see this, but this has now gotten very, very much sturdier than it was before. So I am not worried about. I would be happy to have this on a table being played with and all that. So I don't think it would get too beat up or anything. So now on this one's a solid piece, and then these two are separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a solid piece and these two separate, just to rigidify what I can. Pretty sure that's not a word, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, mark that. Grab all that, trim it off, make sure it fits. Does, and more glue. Oh, y'all have been talking. Okay. Oh, is Ellie taken by the men in the white coats and wander out with the last piece of the flank? Wow, y'all are talking about video games, and I don't know what you're talking about at all. Who's my favorite turtle? Oh, definitely Donnie. Actually, I probably like Mikey. But which turtle am I? I'm Raphael. I have rage issues all day long. Let's see. You ever find the last piece of the phone? There's a phone again. See, I never played the game, the video game. I only played the tabletop game, and yeah, I never played any of them. We've got Elliot taken by the men in white coats. Don't know what that's from. I presume, I don't know. No, but I haven't done it as much time as I should do it. But I tried every game I have. ET is a pain to play. Yeah, I've always heard ET is. Oh, I just measured that piece and brushed it on the floor like a dingus. All right, I heard ET is a pain. So, not the hardest game ever. The Battletoads is the hardest game ever. Apparently, I've not played it. I just no trivia. All right. Bad habit of not finishing video games yet. I'm with you on that one. As you know from my Paleo experience that I haven't played in months. Yeah. Personally, I am Raphael because I'm angry. But my favorite is Donnie because he's the brains. But I also like Mike. I do really like Mikey. Mikey amuses me, especially in one of the newer ones when they went to the X dimension or whatever it was called, and the rest of the turtles had trouble acclimating, and Mikey was just like, "Here, let me show you around," because his brain is different. And I thought that was kind of a cool touch, a little bit of character building. Okay, we are almost done with this one. I got to put in these two little side pieces, and I got to stop brushing pieces of lumber off onto the floor. That'd be nice. Okay. Uh-oh. Doggo's upstairs just went nuts over something. Somebody made a noise, or the wind blew the house and they thought someone was outside, something. Or the housemates could have ordered dinner, and that could be the delivery person ringing the doorbell like they are absolutely never supposed to do. For exactly the dog barky reason. Yeah, so these little pieces when I'm trimming it off, I don't know if you can see, but they are minuscule. But I still, they'll make good rubble or something, or they'll fall into the bottom of the box and I'll never see them again. But either way, I did my part trying to save them. So, yep. I don't know if you see how little glue I'm actually putting it. No, it's not going to focus. By the time it focuses, the glue will have hardened. So let's not do that. But you can now see that I am accidentally filling the holes in with glue, and I don't mean to. So I'm going to come by after and poke them with a needle or something and take out the squidged out bits. So, what's that? No one asked. That's all right. I'm still going to tell you anyway. My favorite tabletop system that's not homebrewed is Palladium system. Palladium uses a system. I have said this on my videos before, so it's not like this is new information here. But all of their games are designed very specifically to work together. And technically, I could make a game that uses exactly that system because the court cases have proven that you can't copyright a game mechanics, but I'd rather write my own. So I am not using theirs. And in fact, I think I may not even be using percentile anymore. But anyway, it's a percentile roll low system. And it is fully compatible between all of their games. So you could, especially in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because it already has mechanics for that, for switching dimensions and all of that. Like there's literally a section of TMNT called Transdimensional TMNT. It's designed for that. Plus, there's rifts and all of that. So, Palladium, you could play something like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type character, a mutant animal, flying a Robotech Veritech fighter across medieval Palladium fantasy world. Is that something you should probably do? No, because I would think that a fighter jet's probably a little overpowered for the fantasy realm, but you could. And they did it before GURPS and all of those other ones made, Universal Systems a thing, you know, known a thing as it is. And they did it first. Now, I have got some problems with some of the people that have been the muckamucks at Palladium Systems over the years, but I can still enjoy the art, even if I don't like the artist. So, yeah, I like Palladium System stuff. It's a system that I know, and so I can jump into any of their games and be good to go in just a few minutes. Okay, it takes quite a while to roll up a character in that game, in that system, but I know how to do so. So, and they have some of the most amazing additional books, like books of chart after chart after chart after chart after chart of like weapons and weapons and armor and stuff like that. They have some very cool stuff that's also from Palladium games. So, yeah, I like that system. Okay, that is one done. And as you can see, that fits right in there and will not fall through, and minis won't fall through. So technically, if this was an actual ship, people wouldn't fall through and, you know, potentially get hurt or die. But in the game, minis could probably stand on this. You're not supposed to stand on them. They're not designed to be that tough. It's literally a wooden slatted grate rather than a board, but you could. And as far as like role playing, if somebody says, I run across this, fine. I'm not making them roll to see if they fall through, unless they're like a super huge creature wearing lots and lots of armor. So that's one of two down. I'm going to work on the other one. We are already 8 o'clock, so I'm not going to finish it tonight, but I am at least going to get the new piece cut to that larger size to make sure that it does fit. And then I'm pretty much good to go with just making another frame. All right, so I know that I need to cut all of these little nibby bits off. So I'm going to cut all of these little nibby bits off. And these are probably a little small to try to bother putting in my rubble box. I think these are actually going to make it to the trash. Brush those off. Slide that off the edge of the table. There we go. Some things are too small to mess with. All right, and still got some little nubby bits sticking out, so I'm going to do that a second pass of that. I was worried about cutting into that frame edge, so this time I am trimming that off a little bit closer. Now, if the last ones are too small, I know these are. Now, these are so small, I don't know if I can even pick them up. So, okay, so brush that. I already know this is the correct width, so I'm just going to mark that again. And then I'm going to remeasure that at just under 3 inches. In case you're doing this, I'm not eyeballing this. I'm using the grid on the cutting board. Figure most of y'all had figured that out already, but, you know, just stating it for the record there, in case anybody's, you know, playing along with the home game, as they used to say. If you're young, you have no idea what I'm talking about. None. I used scissors last time, and here I am using a knife. Oh well. Okay. Go. You can go away. Thank you. Goodbye. All right. And the nubbies are fine on that side. This side, okay, this side they're a little unruly on. Want to hear something funny? Speaking of cutting things, I trimmed my beard today and actually forgot and accidentally gave myself a soul patch, but it will go away. I will mow that by next week. I'm trying to stay basically all one uniform length. So. I'm not chill enough to be a soul patch kind of guy. Wow. Okay. So you just don't want to play ball. All right, so that's about the right size. It is a little too narrow, but it is less than one full line narrow. So what I'm going to do is when I put the border on, I'm going to put the border on just on the outside so that it widens that. And close the knife, dumb butt. Okay. Alrighty, glue done there. And then we'll take that. We'll push that on there and push it out and make sure it's just a little bit on the outside of that. Make sure we're on the standing proud or carpentry term on that side. And that's going to be like half of what I need on that side. So I'm going to do it on the same thing on the opposite side as well. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of board sticking past the plastic, and that's what I'm looking for on this particular build set of it. Alrighty, so we'll take nippers and nipper that off. And then we will take this other one, which I think is long enough. It is. And we will do the same thing on the opposite side. All right. Oh, I forgot to ask. Anybody out there crafting, or y'all just hanging out again? Y'all all seem to just come and hang out, which is fine with me. But if y'all are crafting, that's cool too. If you are, please join the Discord and send us pictures of what you're building. We'd all love to see it. If you're not crafting, you're just chilling out, that is also good. All right. Got that one good too. There's just a little bit of lumber outside of the plastic. That one bounced, but I caught it. That one's going to be sticking out too far, so let's nip that off a little more. Okay. And yep, there we go. All right, you long enough on this side? Wow, perfect. All right. That hardly ever happens. Almost never have the offcut be just the right length. I mean, you can do that, but without planning, that almost never happens. I got way too much glue on that. That's all right. I can always expand the hole with a probe later. Stop it. I know I keep saying stuff that's giggle worthy. Quit it. I don't really care if y'all giggle at all. I'm just saying it so y'all know that I realized I cracked a funny, even if it was accidental. Okay. And all right. Oh, I didn't see Jess was leaving. That's all right. Hope you see this later, Jess, and know that I said goodnight. Have a good night, Jess. That's Sim Peasant. That's the one I was talking about earlier. I did not realize that he had told us that she had to skedaddle. Yes, I said skedaddle. That's a redneckism. I am not just mispronouncing the name Seattle. Promise. Okay. And I've glued it down again. That's all right. Okay. Now, let's make sure that I got that the right dimensions. That's a mighty fine job right there. I got a little bit of a gap there, but that's because the piece is cut crooked. Once I push that in, yeah, it's not falling through anyway. which is was the one worry. But you can see that it's well bordered, so good to go. Alrighty, well that only took a few minutes. Probably the second one's always faster because you used to it. Now this one's got an odd number both directions, so I know I need to use the center gap rather than a center line to put my glue on. See if this is the right length. It is in fact too long, which is good. Technically I could use that on the back on one of those. Yep, I think I'll preserve that and use that on the back. Use this other one. And measure that. Gauge that, not measure. Then remember which side I cut. That's my one I'm saving. This one needs to fit right. Yeah. And I could actually glue this from the back, but eh. Not all of y'all know this about me, but I have a song go through my head every day. Something during the course of the day will begin to be the song in my head. It's different songs. It's sometimes it goes back to a previous song. It's almost never the same song 2 days in a row, but there'll be like just one song stuck in my head all day long. And today's is one by Kraftwerk, and I cannot remember the name of it. For anybody who's a big Kraftwerk fan out there, it's the one that goes dun 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 dun. And that's literally all I can remember off the top of my head. I mean, I know the whole, there's not a lot of lyrics in Kraftwerk. They're mostly about the electronica. But I don't know that that song even has lyrics. So I guess technically it's not a song if it doesn't have lyrics. But you know what I mean. That musical piece is going through my head. Anybody does know what it is and wants to tell me, I am happy to hear that. But otherwise, I'll go. I have Kraftwerk on my music list in my computer. I actually own well, technically it's software. I own the files, but I'll just go look later or play the look. I'll play the entire checklist and playlist, and when that one comes around, I'll be like, oh, that's the one. But yeah. Oh, I should be cracking all of the that's what she said just to keep y'all entertained. What? Are we not amused? I already mentioned once in this conversation that I'm a size queen, so that's at least one of those jokes down. This side's going a lot quicker, or this board is going a lot quicker because I already did the one in it. I've got the memory muscle memory for it or whatever. Muscle memory. One big muscle. Yeah. There you go. There's your dirty joke. Oh, this isn't long enough, but it will be long enough for the side pieces, so that's fine. Okay, now remember, I'm cross-hatching these the opposite direction. So where this one went all the way across this way, the ones behind are going to go all the way across this way. And I do want this one to stand a little proud, just like the other one did, so that they match. So let's do that. And I've got a little bit of clearance to play with, so I'm not worried about getting it too far out. It's too far out, man. I can't handle it. Okay, I'm not old enough to really appreciate that reference. I'm old, but I'm not hippies old. My mom was a hippie. Well, I don't know about that. My mom took me to Woodstock when I was 3 months old. And I don't mean just to Woodstock. I mean, I was at Woodstock when I was 3 months old. I told you all that before because I remember saying this next part. They say if you remember the 60s, you weren't really there. And I don't remember the 60s at all. But mostly because I was only 8 months old when they ended. But I had recently been to Woodstock at that point. So that may be another reason. I'm not saying that, as a baby, I got all secondhand stoned out there. But, it could happen. It can happen. That's the thing that Mrs. Lynn there and I share in common is being parentally exposed to certain elements when we were youngins. In case you're wondering, I've got some little nubbies of the plastic sticking out, and there's some super hot glue sticking out, so that's what I was cutting off. So as you can see, that board and that board pretty well line up. If there's a slight dip in there to the plastic, but that's actually gotten filled up with hot glue as I've gone through the motions here. Now, will you fit here? Yep, just about perfectly. So we'll take that and glue, as Craft Nix likes to say, let the glue do what it do. Make sure to line that up on that outside edge as well. Again, trying to have these stand a little bit proud so they fit correctly in that frame. And good there. Now, are you the right length? Or are you going to be a little short? That's what she said. Actually, he's come up a little short, is what she said. That's the actual joke on that one. That's a whole new dimension, pardon the dimension pun, but has a whole new dimension too. Are you being short with me? Gross. You're dirty. Yes, indeed. By the way, my channel is not intended for children. Sorry to warn you at the end of the episode. Hey, there you go. There you have it. Okay, now, again, since this is 2 pieces and this is 1, I want 1 piece to go across the 2 pieces for extra rigidity. So we'll take that, gauge that, nip that little piece off, save it into the rubble pile. The reason I put this longer one over here in the rubble pile, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually funky and bent. There's a knot in my coffee stir stick, lollipop stick, whatever the heck it is. Alrighty. Only 3 more boards to go tonight. And just completed that one, so only 2 more boards to go tonight. As ever, y'all can run off early. I don't care. I won't try not to keep you real late. I'm only planning on doing this for about another 5 minutes anyway, so I like to keep it under an hour and a half, and that's going to leave me just at, so that'll be a good thing. Give me another quick perusal of the messages after I stick this one board on here. And I could use white glue on this and or stick tacky glue really, which is a white glue but thicker, and probably have a sturdier board overall. Or sturdier door overall as it goes. Hatch, whatever this thing is. It's called a hatch because it's hatched. That's actually why they're called hatches, even though hatches often have solid doors, which makes them not hatches. But that's neither here nor there. What was I saying? Before I let y'all run off, I'm gonna. Oh, one more look at the screen. Oh, wow. Bluesky Collected says, as far as they're aware, there's no chemical influences, direct or indirect, on their formation. They just turned out naturally screwed up and weird. That's okay. Own it. What's it? What do they say? Preach your truth, I think is the phrase. I don't know. Whatever. Oh, I did the thing again. Let's hope I get it measured before the glue hardens up. I think I managed this. If not, scrape it off with an X-Acto blade pretty quick. There you go. I say X-Acto blade. I don't actually own any X-Acto products. I think I own one. But anyway, hobby knife is what I should say. All right, so there's the second one. Front and back, or top and bottom, or however you want to look at it. And that should fit right in that little hole and not fall through. And et voila. I could not ask for it to be better. That is exactly, when I was picturing what I was going to build tonight and how it's going to turn out, that is it exactly. That is exactly what I wanted. So, good to go. Yep. Oh, I was talking about glue. I could have used tacky glue instead, and it will set up since I'm going all the way through the holes on this, and the boards would essentially bond to themselves. But the white glues don't actually like to stick to the mesh. So, whatever. I may actually just leave those that color and not actually color them and say that that's, I don't know, some light wood or something like that. If I put a stain on this, I don't think the stain will even stick to the plastic. I think that would be bare, but it might. I might be able to do the whole thing with a stain or a wash and not have to worry about painting it. But yeah, I couldn't be happier with the way this turned out. So let me switch to the other camera and tell y'all good night. All right, let me turn off this light, and then I will be right there. I've got all this little schmutz everywhere. Okay. All right, is this scrap? No, that's doors. Somewhere I've got a wood scrap box, jar, something. We'll figure that out later. I'll do that off camera. But these will all end up in that. Now, I do have a vast number of little glue bits everywhere. Okay, where are you going? Don't run off. Okay, you here. Okay. See you there. Turn this light off. And then switch to ye olde front camera again. Yeah, so I'm super stoked. I didn't think I would. I knew I'd get like at least the first layer done, possibly the back as well, bottom, top, whatever, the second layer as well. But I didn't think I'd finish both whole doors tonight. So that is very cool. Yeah, super excited about that part. And I can't get over how well that worked. That is amazing and fun and cool. Usually my stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much what I expected. I'm good with that. But sometimes I'm just like, woohoo! So, yeah. Ooh, that's kind of a trip looking. Oop, wrong camera. Through both of those holes. That's kind of. It creates a moire. Is that the right picture? Or right name for type of picture? A moire? That thing where lines one way look weird going across lines the other. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, as ever, hope y'all have enjoyed it. This is Campaign Terrain. I am your host, That Guy Cross. I do lots of chill streams like this. I don't really get super excited about stuff on my streams. I just kind of do what I need to do to get my projects done. Somebody had been asking for quite some time about me building a ship, so that's why I'm doing it. I don't actually have a need for the ship. I don't have a scenario for it or anything like that. When I actually use it, even though I am building all of the decks as playable. That's about to fall over. Give me a second here. Scooch. There we go. Since I am building all of the decks playable, it will have essentially 5 decks, but 2 of them are built together. So I've got a base one. I've got the next 2. This one is the ship's stores. This is things that go into the ship. They'll be lowered all the way into the bottom through these doors that we made tonight. This is the quarter deck. This is the deck that the crew would actually sleep on, so create little hammocks or berths or whatever in here. They all nestle into each other so they can stack. I don't know if you can see that. If you haven't been here before. If you've been here before, you know that. But this one fits in here. And then this one fits in here. It looks a little weird from the viewpoint of a ship, but it works well for playability. So that's why they have this sort of dropped off pieces so that I can fit them together like that. And there will be another deck, which I started last week, which will sit on top of there. As you can see, it once again fits around that one. I think I have this piece upside down. No, I don't. Okay, and there will be a deck on that one, but at the front there will be a foxhole, and at the rear there will be a poop deck, and each of those will have a deck on top. I've also got to build a space in here for where the mechanics for the rudder and stuff would go, the mechanicals. So there will be a box built into the back of this and inside the captain's quarters on the poop deck. So there will be the main deck, which I've taken to calling the promenade because that's what it would be called on a big like sailing boat. Yeah, so it'll be a promenade, a foxhole, a poop deck, and on top there will be a steering wheel sort of thing, and then various other things, railings along the side and all of that. Then, of course, I will build some masts off of these 2 pieces upward. And I'm going to make super simplified rigging that's a rigid piece, so they can just be taken off. It's probably going to be held on with magnets if I can find my little magnets. If not, I'll use little rings at the top and like hang it by essentially bra hooks kind of thing, the little hooks for, those little fabric hooks for bra, because that way I can just stick it in place and let it go and it'll sit against the side. I'm going to do the sails furled, which means rolled up. And I'm going to, that saves a lot of, this boat, you'll never see it. Like, I don't have any scenarios or anything where it would be out at sea. If I do, I suppose I could build new masts with new sails on them. This is designed to be like in port. Now, when it's in port, I won't use all of these decks. I will only use this one and the ones above, because that way, when it's sitting next to my piers, it'll be easy to get a ramp on them. And this part would be underwater anyway. I'm going to be painting this part black, this part purple. That's already been decided in previous weeks. And yeah, so the ship's coming along nicely. This is Campaign Terrain. I am your host, That Guy Cross. And what meme is me? Poop day. I'm cracking a joke about the poop. All right. Well, hopefully all that'll do that. They're just cracking jokes with each other, and you had to be here. You had to be here. Hypothetically, YouTube does include the caption, the chat later, but I always end up rewatching this on the same night, so I'll watch it tonight, and the chat won't be there yet. But the captions will. So please, again, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Specifically, please sub and comment. Both of those, subbing builds the channel, commenting drives the channel on the algorithms. So please do that. And come by my Discord. Links down below. Come hang out. We're fun. I do this kind of chill stuff with miniature stuff. It can be anything if you ever want to talk about it here in the chat, or if you want to talk about it on the Discord. Gaming terrain, dollhouses, fairy houses, book nooks, anything tiny. Happy to talk about it. We can talk about other stuff too, but that's generally what the Discord's for, is for miniature stuff. So I know I've said this like 3 times tonight, but thanks for coming. So this is Campaign Terrain. I'm your host, That Guy Cross. This is the basement. You're welcome here every Sunday, and I'll let you go. Good night. Thanks for coming. Oh, and until next time, I wish you luck in your campaign, whether it's in the real world or on the table. And I mean that. I hope that all is going well with you. Okay. Have a great night.